The final week of the regular season, 4 teams in the Cap 8 still with hope for the conference title. Tonight, Riddle and Riddle High School Hoops presented by the University of North Carolina. We're live inside Wakefield High School. The 9-2 Wolverines play host to the 6-6 Millbrook Wildcats. Hi, once again, everybody. Welcome to High School Hoops. Patrick Keenis, welcome back. My partner, Jay Sonhalter, and Jay, your alma mater, the Wolverines, 9-2. Beat Millbrook by a couple of points a few weeks ago, but they can take a big step to the #1 seed in the conference tournament with a win over Millbrook tonight.
Yeah, this ball game's huge, and two of the best teams in the East that I would expect to make deep playoff runs. But for the Cap 8 regular season title, this is a huge one. Each team playing 3 games this week. Important matchup for Millbrook to try to get redemption here on the road against a really good Wakefield team.
All right, now let's take a look at some of the key players we'll see tonight. One big omission for Wakefield with an injury, but some other players have stepped up.
Yeah, for Millbrook, starting with Micah Jones, she does it all on both ends of the court. She can dominate a ball game. On the offensive end, she can drive and take it all the way to the hoop and finish. She can shoot it from the outside. She can slash and create for her teammates. And on the defensive end, she's a lockdown enforcer, always on the opponent's best player, causing disruption. She's one of those players that just excels, and look for her to be very aggressive in this ball game for Dan Courtwright. Over on the other side for Wakefield, Nicola Men's been outstanding, shooting the ball from the outside. She's got touch down in the post she can finish, and she's got the mid-range game. All 3 levels she can score at. On the defensive side, she's tasked down in the post area with her defensive effort. She's got the quickness out on the perimeter, and she's really been coming on strong. A starter, freshman and sophomore year. Here in her junior year, she's been starring.
All right, the Millbrook Wildcats sit 12-10, 6-6 in league play. Wakefield 13-8, but 9-2 in the league. What are the keys, especially on the heels of these two teams facing off a few weeks ago?
For the Wildcats, it's playing a complete ball game, just being consistent throughout. Then on the defensive end, that's their foundation. They want to create turnovers and force Wakefield out of rhythm. And for the Wolverines, crowd the paint, try to make it difficult for Millbrook shooting the ball in the paint area, force them to shoot it from the outside, and then they've got to attack the boards. They want to win on the glass, crash the glass, box out. That's been the focus here for the Wolverines coming into this game.
All right, 3 teams on the chase of first place. Wakefield still with a game in hand. The Wolverines have 3 games left. Leesville Road, Corinth Holders, and Broughton are all looking for a Millbrook upset tonight, but Wakefield tries to take one large step to a regular season Cap 8 title. Tip-off, Millbrook and Wakefield next.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
For 250 years, America has been built on bold ideas, strong communities, and stories that connect us all. From small towns to big cities, from back roads to bright lights, this is the story of who we are. In 2026, we celebrate 250 years of amazing America. And together, we honor the people, places, and possibilities that continue to shape our future. Stay with MyRDC 28 as we celebrate amazing America.
The truth hurts. You're full of it from all angles.
But lies? Once you find yourself in a hole, stop digging.
Hurt even more. You look like a deer in the headlights.
Judge Domingo, Judge Levy, Judge Acker, from creator Judge Judy Scheinlin.
You scammed him. Judge Levy?
No, that was perfect. I got no questions.
Really?
I got no questions.
This is Tribunal Justice.
Back to Raleigh, North Carolina as we enter the final week of the Cap 8 regular season. First place Wakefield taking on the Millbrook Wildcats. Big one tonight. Wakefield 9-2 entering. Millbrook sitting 6-6, but still a lot that can be contested over the next 5 days for the regular season championship. Jay, welcome back. Glad you're feeling better. We missed you.
Thank you. Yeah, and this is a great rivalry. Both these teams, traditional powers in the Raleigh area, and we talked in the open. I think teams that have an opportunity to make it all the way to the state championship, so this should be another great game.
Millbrook is in the dark uniforms, winning the tip and committing a turnover 12 seconds in. A backcourt violation. The Wildcats 12-10 overall, sitting 6-6 in league play. But Jay, they just played a couple of weeks ago, tight one, 44-42 win for the Wolverines. They could have shaken up the entire top of the standings.
Yeah, 2-point ball game, and these teams know each other very well. These players have a long history of playing against each other in middle school and AAU ball, and now at the high school level, there's talent on both sides.
And there's the Riddle and Riddle starting lineups for the Wakefield Wolverines, brought to you by Riddle and Riddle. When justice counts, you see the starting five there. Nicole Amen, team's leading scorer at 13 a game, but they lost Lila Bagwell due to an ACL tear earlier in the year. That has completely changed the look, especially offensively, of this Wakefield team. Rolling to the hole is Madeline Cussy with the first points of the night for the Wolverines.
That was a great job there going towards the hoop. A strong cut from Kuzi. A nice finish.
And here are their starters for the 12-10 Millbrook Wildcats. Riddle and Riddle, when justice counts. Three-pointer missed. And Micah Jones, good inside position for the offensive rebound. And the first foul of the game goes against Quinn Pope of Wakefield.
And there you see Jones reading that ball off the rim, hustling down to get position. She's an excellent rebounding guard and does it all for the Wildcats.
Inbounds pass poked away. A second early turnover by the Wildcats. On the move, this is Amen, number 3. The kick out, Kuzi misses a 3. Offensive rebound, back it goes inside. And it is for Love Wakefield on Amen's first points of the night.
And Wakefield's known for their passing and very unselfish. Kate Benson got that board, quick pass, and an easy look for 2.
All right, Jay, let's talk styles here with Millbrook with the basketball. What do they like to run, and where does their offense like to go through?
Yeah, they want to play through the paint area, getting the ball inside to Lauren Brown, and she's a talented post player, junior, has Division I offers.
And defensively, what will we see from the Wildcats?
Well, I think man-to-man is going to be their calling card and trying to get pressure on Wakefield and just slow down the rhythm. With strong cuts, lots of passing for the Wolverines. Last year, a lot of three-point shooters. This year, more of a downhill attacking team.
For this Millbrook team, again, the dark uniforms, they just played last night. And here they are now playing back-to-back days before all of these teams, the Cap 8, will play back-to-back across the final weekend of the regular season. Kate Benson, their top three-point shooter, with her first points. 6-2 Wolverines. An interior defensive foul goes on Wakefield.
And for Wakefield, the ball movement on that last possession, trying to get the defense off balance. That's what's really led to their 3 buckets so far.
Foul charge against number 1, Blythe Ruff. Deflected pass through the corner, and will stay with Millbrook. All right, now for the Wolverines offensively, what do they like to run, and how has their offense changed with the injury to Bagwell?
Well, and it's one of those offenses, as Camden Scott there, he wants quick passes and unselfish play, everybody getting touches and trying to get downhill, driving towards the hoop and playing an attacking, aggressive nature.
3 loose opening quarter turnovers by Millbrook. And again, when you're on the road, you know you can compete with this team. You know you can come on the road and win, but you cannot afford these type of unforced errors here in the opening quarter.
And their goal in this ball game was being consistent throughout and trying to protect the ball and play well on both ends of the court all throughout this ball game. And there's a good look at Dan Courtwright, the head coach for Millbrook, who does a great job with this program, and a young team that's really progressing throughout this season.
Now Millbrook finished 12-13 a year ago, 6-19 the previous, so they're on the upswing. A couple of games over 500 overall. Trailing 6-2 on the road here in the opening quarter. This is Grace Bardine, number 23 in the high post. She'll attack Kuzi. Now pass it off to the sideline. Ruff. Back to Kuzi. Millbrook well defending. 3 minutes in.
Yeah, really good job here on the defensive side for the Wildcats, making it difficult.
And a man goes against 3 defenders, pitches to the corner. Quinn Pope lost her balance. Late whistle comes in. And a travel on the Wolverines guard.
And that's the effort for the Wildcats on the defensive side. This is a really good offensive group for the Wolverines, and just forcing them into turnovers and making it unnatural for them to get their offense going.
Again, as action begins tonight, Wakefield top of the Cap 8, sitting 9-2. Leesville Road and Corinth holders are both 9-3, and Broughton at 8-4. So the Wolverines certainly hold destiny in their hands. A fourth first quarter turnover by the Wildcats in transition, and this is a man, a little strong, and battling for the rebound is grabbed by the Wildcats' Lauren Brown. And Millbrook at this stage lucky to be down by 4. A fifth turnover now. Pope the steal, misses with the left-handed layup, and now the Wildcats up the floor with some numbers. Corin Dixon enters, and they turn it over again.
And for
6 in the opening quarter.
For the Wolverines, they're using their 1-3-1 pressure, and it's a different look. And Millbrook just trying to decipher it and trying to get a feel for how to attack this defense.
We get to play 4 minutes. 6 turnovers by Millbrook. Only 2 shot attempts. 6-2 Wakefield. Amen on the drive. A little short, but she got fouled. Free throws on the other side as that foul goes against Millbrook's Lauren Brown. 6 early turnovers for the Wildcats on the road, looking to spring the upset. They'll need to clean it up. Early lead to the first place Wolverines.
Are you a weather nut? A bona fide weather enthusiast? I'm talking, do you have a rain gauge? Would you drop what you're doing to go storm chasing? Then the National Weather Desk is for you.
We saw rapid intensification.
That cold air really piling up to the north.
200 meteorologists explain, experience, and enlighten you about the weather.
This is Severe Weather Awareness Week.
Go beyond the forecast. Watch the National Weather Desk.
This is your CW22 and Minorities 828 community calendar. The Brilliance of Resilience is the theme of this year's Future of Black History Month program on February 21st from 1 to 3 p.m. at Academy Pavilion at downtown Cary Park. This program is free and open to the public. For more information, visit downtowncarypark.com. The Durham Craft Market will take place on Saturday, February 21st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Durham Central Park. Creations from local artisans, from jewelry to apparel and accessories and art, will be on display and for purchase. For more information, visit durhamcraftmarket.com. Please send your announcements at least 2 weeks in advance to email rkeith@sbgtv.com.
Riddle High School Hoops presented by the University of North Carolina. A bit of an early start on this Tuesday night from Raleigh. Wakefield 6, Millbrook 2. Patrick Keenis, Jason Halter back with you. Early lead to the Wolverines. Couple of free throws also for Wakefield as we return. At the ready-to-roll free throw line, the Wakefield Wolverines, and that is Nicole Amen. Already 3 early points. Ready to roll. Call Raleigh's Garage Door experts today. 6-point spread, 8-2 Wakefield.
And Amen, one of the stars of last season's state championship runner-up team, and here is a junior, really picked up her scoring and leading the team in so many categories.
Micah Jones, pass to the mid-post. We'll see how Millbrook handles the basketball here, and right out of that timeout, yet another turnover for Dan Courtwright's Wildcats. They've had 9 possessions, 2 shot attempts, 7 turnovers.
And this is a talented offensive group. They're just trying to find their rhythm and how to attack this zone defense that Wakefield's trying to pressure with.
Pope, a nice look on the dive cut for Kate Benson.
And Kate Benson moving without the basketball with the back cut. And Pope, only a sophomore, she's going to be a Division I prospect with a nice pass.
I mean, Jay, this is unbelievable. 8 turnovers now for Millbrook, and again, most of these are unforced.
Yeah. and just uncharacteristic. And they've got to find a way to slow down this ball game and just get into a pace on the offensive end, get something going towards the hoop, maybe a fast break opportunity, get to the free throw line, something to settle in.
And there's Ruff out of the corner, swirls out of three, a long rebound into the hands of Amen, spins in the lane, gives it back up. Ruff on the baseline drive, and the Wolverines will recycle the offense. Little fumble in the lane, pivoting back, Amen. Bank shot all glass, and the Wildcats grab the rebound.
Good defense from Lauren Brown down in the paint area, going up and down. Their hands up.
Jayla De Leon Jones on the floor, running the point. She turns it over. The 9th by Millbrook in this first quarter, and the layup the other way in transition to Benson. The lead is double figures already, 12-2 Wakefield.
Wakefield's defense has been the story in this game. Just the pressure out on the perimeter, making it difficult.
And a shot attempt, believe it or not, by the Wildcats. It's missed by Lauren Brown. And here come the Wolverines running 3-on-3, but with an angle. Amen got her own miss, leaves it short again, and then goes right over the back. First foul on Nicole Amen.
Lauren Brown regaining position to get that board in with the foul. And for Millbrook here, hustling back in transition defense, just making it difficult after the offensive board. There's Brown grabbing the rebound.
Just some frustration right there by Amen, unable to finish on two shorties. 12-2 Wakefield, 2:10 left opening quarter. Wakefield again a half game up on both Leesville Road and Corinth holders with a game in hand into the final week of the regular season. A near turnover that time by Millbrook. Bardeen pitches to Brown, off balance, three is short. Ruff the rebound and runs ahead in 3-on-4. Nice angle, bounce pass, Amen gets inside, and she won't miss this time.
Well, for Wakefield, you get the offensive board and feel like, hey, got numbers, we can push the ball, and Ruff sprinting up the floor to find Amen streaking towards the hoop.
And it's 10 straight now for the Wolverines. Entry pass poked away. Good job by Quinn Pope on the inside, denied an underneath pass. 14-2 the Wakefield lead. And look at the points in the paint, Jay, sponsored by the University of North Carolina. 12 of the 14 for Wakefield from in the paint.
The Wolverines having success attacking the glass and going downhill. That's where they're doing their damage.
Three from Bardeen. Weak side board to Pope. 14-2 Wolverines trying to break this one wide open in the first 8 minutes. And free throws coming for first place Wakefield. First foul on Bardeen.
Quinlan Pope, only a sophomore. She's going to be a player that's a Division I prospect, 5'10", good handles, quickness, takes it all the way to the hoop to get to the line.
And at the free throw line is Quinn Pope, the ready to roll free throw line. Ready to roll, call Raleigh's Garage Door experts today. And one more coming for Pope, her first point of the game. Micah Jones checks out. 12 straight by the Wolverines. A confident visage on the sideline for Camden Scott. These first 7 minutes could not have gone any better for the Wolverines, forcing 9 turnovers.
He's got to be pleased with the defensive effort. The offense has been efficient, but his defense has come out and making it difficult for Millbrook's offense to get going.
And a very active zone out front. Deflected pass, got to the sideline, missed three. Second chance for Millbrook, and that is way long from Corin Dixon. Loose ball, diving on it is Lauren Brown. And we will get a timeout call as Millbrook regain possession.
For Millbrook, I think a good timeout here inside of 1 minute going into the second quarter, and an opportunity to establish what you want to do. Dan Courtwright settling his team down here in the huddle and designing a play to get a good shot.
Where do they need to start to kind of get their bearings and senses about them?
Well, some adjustments they've made is they're starting to set picks out on the perimeter, try to get that defender off of the point guard. So I think something where you're moving the ball quickly, setting picks, being assertive, trying to drive off that pick to put pressure on the defense where you can drive and kick out or take it all the way to the hoop. But they have to find some separation, and I think that's through the pick and roll game to get going downhill.
Offense has been dry for about the last 5.5 minutes. Millbrook basketball trailing 16-2. Dream Keith banks it in and ends the drought for Millbrook. 5'4" junior off of the bench. Maybe that's the spark.
Yeah, nice job by Keith. Again, going down, beating the defender and having good touch off the backboard.
Inside the final 30 seconds, Amen goes one-on-one against Brown. And a drive from the right side. Very nice finish by Kate Benson, slippery from the wing. She has 8 in this opening quarter.
Yeah, she's really playing well, and she's out at the top of this defense applying the pressure.
And forces a 10th Millbrook turnover of the quarter. It's a 4-on-2. Benson for 3, a little long. And Amen keeps the rebound alive and grabs the weak side. Locates Benson again, but the clock will run out for the first quarter. 18 points for Wakefield, and the Wolverine defense forces 10 Millbrook turnovers. Benson leading the way. Wakefield up 14 after 1.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A new podcast where timing is everything. It's what separates those who follow culture from those who shape it.
Don't call it a comeback.
Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, reunited, not on the court, but behind the mic.
We want to bring a lot of worlds together.
And it's just love, man.
Cousins with Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady.
Cousins, new episodes every Wednesday.
1 quarter in the books from Wakefield. 18-4 for the first place Wolverines. Patrick Keenis, Jay Sohnhalter, and our entire crew for the penultimate regular season game here on High School Hoops. Final weekend of the regular season coming up Friday and Saturday. We'll be, I believe, in South Garner on Friday night for one of the final games for South Garner and the last regular season game of our coverage. So Millbrook, a first quarter to forget, but still 24 minutes to go. 14 points down on the road against first place Wakefield. And the second quarter begins as the first one ended. Quinn Pope, nice dribble drive from the point. And the lead grows now to 16.
A strong take. Again, Wakefield finishing in the paint area. Nice response here from Lauren Brown coming back with 2 of her own.
Well, the big Achilles heel for the Wildcats in that first half. Double-digit turnovers with only 4 points on the board. Into the corner, Amend, yes. First 3 of the game on either side. That's a Nelson Chiropractic three-pointer. Sponsored by Nelson and Nelson Chiropractic, working overtime to make a difference in our community. To the inside, Brown draws a double, hands it off, and a nice finish. Unselfish play right there, and Taylor Hayes with her first point.
A really good possession from Millbrook with the quick passes. It started with Micah Jones on the perimeter, goes to Lauren Brown, and the quick pass for the finish to Hayes.
Pope again to take, pivots all the way around. And back out front to Benson. 8 first quarter points for Benson. Little weave action on the outside, back in the hands of Pope. And Millbrook's defense recovers. Just a look of pure confidence right now for the Wolverines, especially on the offensive side. Screen set by a man, frees up Pope, misses a 3, and Jones the rebound for Millbrook. If the Wildcats are going to get back into it, defensive stops and stringing successful offensive possessions back to back. But they will turn it over now for the 11th time of the first half.
So the goal here in the second quarter has to be just, hey, maintain possession, let's make good decisions, and let's get shots up. No turnovers, and Wakefield's defense is really good. I mean, this is difficult pressure they're facing. They have to find a way to slow it down and make good decisions.
23-8, Wolverines leading. Benson on the baseline drive, mid-range on the pull-up. Double figures for Benson.
Benson doing on both ends of the court. She's the top of this pressure. She goes back to work. And there's another turnover.
That's number 12 for Millbrook. Ruff, a nice bounce pass, and that's a man on the finishing end. And if you're Dan Courtright, you might need to burn a timeout here. He's going to hang on to it, but this one is getting away from his Wildcats. Another live ball turnover. Pope the strip and the layup. And he'll take a timeout now. And the boat taking on water for the Millbrook Wildcats on the road. 29-8 Wakefield. 5:26 left, open in half. It's a runaway for the first place Wolverines.
Let's jump right in.
10-4, start me another unit. 74 in a 40 zone. We ain't gonna tolerate that.
Live PD presents
Life. It's full of moments, from first steps to first loves, moments that make life special. Now, life can also bring us difficult and disruptive moments like a cancer diagnosis, which is why the groundbreaking work of Stand Up to Cancer is so vital. They know the problem of cancer won't be solved by one doctor, one lab, or one hospital. That's why Stand Up to Cancer brings together top minds from different fields to find new and better treatments so patients can thrive. So when it matters, we can all show up for moments of a lifetime. Please join Stand Up to Cancer and Myrtle Beach to help families get back to where they belong, making new memories for years to come. Please go to standuptocancer.org to see how you can join the mission.
Tonight's Scholar Athlete brought to you by Tatum and Atkinson. If you're injured in a car wreck, call the heavy hitters. That is at the half. Wakefield rolling on a busy basketball night here in North Raleigh. 29-8 Wolverines leading Millbrook. The Wolverines in the home white, they have forced 12 Millbrook turnovers in 10.5 minutes of game action. And that is missed off the sideline. Rebound Wakefield. Here's Ahmed, the leading scorer with 11. Spins right into 4 defenders and turns it over. With that 4th defender just kind of closed off the last kind of angle for Ahmed. Turnover to Millbrook.
The last ball game, the final score is 44-42. Wakefield coming away with the win earlier on in January. And right now, the pace of this going in Wakefield's favor, playing fast, getting out on the run, and for Millbrook, trying to get their offense going, but they've got to slow down Wakefield on the offensive side as well.
And again, the intense top of the zone pressure nearly forced another turnover, and now it does. I mean, you're right, it's biting pressure at the top of the zone, trapping, closing quickly, hands up, a lot of deflections. Been extraordinarily effective against Millbrook.
You've got to have strong cuts, picks, good ball movement, and fake passes to try to get the defense out of alignment. Right now, they're just being aggressive and jumping passing lanes.
Here's a spot up 3 on the way, buried by Blythe Ruff. Second of the quarter for Wakefield. Nelson and Nelson Chiropractic 3, sponsored by Nelson and Nelson Chiropractic, working overtime to make a difference in our community. Into the backcourt, a steal away. Benson this time misses the layup. Offensive rebound and a foul. Pope will head to the free throw line.
Another turnover with the pressure and jumping in the passing lane. And Wakefield getting out on the run. Here it is. There's Pope getting the steal, passing it up to Benson, and doing the rest to get to the line here in the offensive board.
Second foul on Grace Bardine. And the first free throw short and right by Pope. One more coming for the ready to roll free throw line. Ready to roll, call Raleigh's garage door experts today. 32-8, Wakefield. 6 points already for Pope, 11 for Amen, 10 for Benson, and we're almost just halfway into the second quarter. I mean, this has been a standing 8 count for the Wildcats in this first half on the road. And even with the big lead, look at the closing pressure on the outside of this zone defense by the Wolverines. Relentless.
Good job here with the ball movement.
Keith to the corner. Brown. Yes. Three-pointer knocked down by Lauren Brown.
That's how Millbrook wants their possessions to look. Staying patient, everybody getting touches, keeping the defense on the run, and then a nice finish with the three-pointer.
First three of the night by Millbrook. Touch to the corner. Amend. Can't counter. Harwood the rebound, and now the Wildcats coming up, trailing 33-11. Brown, though, number 22, has had the hot hand for the Wildcats this first half. Harwood nowhere to go. Throws through traffic. Somehow got through to Hayes. And a Wolverine foul.
Nice take to the hoop from Micah Jones. And getting to that high block area. Once you get the ball, you want to be aggressive. And there's the pass from the outside. Jones goes through two defenders to get to the free throw line.
Second foul on Ruff. First free throw is missed by Jones. One more coming from the ready-to-roll free throw line. Call Raleigh's Garage Door experts today when you're ready to roll. Two misses. Wolverine rebound. 3:15 for the half. 22-point lead for the Wolverines.
Now Millbrook showing a 2-3 zone look, changing up their defense to try to slow down the offense.
Benson off the left, skips to the corner. Open is Pope. Yes. Three different Wolverines hit threes in this quarter. 36-11 Wakefield.
Wakefield spreading the floor there, and a long pass to Pope with her feet set. She was ready to shoot.
And a trap, little fumble in the backcourt. Dixon turns it over. That's 15 by Millbrook in the first half. More turnovers than points. Tough night of the office so far for Dan Courtwright, sixth-year head coach for the Wildcats. Pope throws it away. Miscommunication, live ball turnover. Brown gets Pope on her hip, misses the driving layup, and now the Wolverines can have numbers the other direction. Ruff leads the charge. Amen spins, bounces back to Ruff. It's off of Palm, right back to Amen. Ruff the board, and the Wolverines have it back. An open look now for Pope, and she knocks down her second three of the quarter. Nelson and Nelson chiropractic three, working overtime to make a difference in our community. Biggest spread of the game for the Wolverines. They're up 28. In and out is Brown with a three. Oh, look at that pass coming from Benson. Pope the other way. What a finish. Benson saved it from her knees and put it right on stride to Pope on the finish.
Yeah, Pope really starting to take over, heating up here in the second quarter. The sophomore showing all of her offensive talent.
And the Millbrook Wildcats just having to work so hard to secure the basketball, let alone getting a shot up. 41-13 Wakefield. Points to paint, sponsored by the University of North Carolina. 22 of the 41 for Wakefield.
And some of these points in the paint are coming on the fast break. Wakefield finding a way to get through the teeth of this defense, driving to the hoop, but that's where they're doing their damage. They've opened things up from beyond the three-point line here in the second quarter, but I like how they're being aggressive at driving the ball.
Jordan Holmes on the floor for the Wolverines, number 21. She's playing through the high post. Deflected pass stays with Wakefield. A reminder, stay tuned. The Air Experts Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing High School Hoops halftime reports is on the way. First half highlights and a whole lot more with myself and Jay. Air Experts, schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com. Inside a minute for the half. 41-13 Wakefield. Good ball movement again Up fake by Ruff. Travels on the wing. Haven't seen a lot of turnovers. Very clean first half of the Wolverines.
And for Millbrook here, large deficit, but in order to give yourself some momentum in the second half, you've got to try to finish this quarter with some positive plays and try to get a bucket here, a stop on defense, just get something going in the halftime break, and Dan Courtwright can make some adjustments during that intermission period and come out here strong in the third quarter.
Second foul on Pope. She stays on the floor for Wakefield. Runner in the lane, no. Ruff the rebound. 30 seconds for the half. Wakefield up by 28. Wildcats settle into this 2-3. Back out of the high post. Holmes to the corner. Ruff. Baseline drive, tip pass, it's loose. And the Wildcats will pick it up and take it away. They have 7 seconds to work with. Here comes Brown. Into the half court with 3. Does she know there's only 1 second left? I don't believe she does. The horn will sound. Brown lost track of the time on the way down, and a memorable opening 16 minutes for the Wakefield Wolverines. They hit 4 threes in the second quarter and are up 28 points at the half. Wakefield 41, Millbrook 13. Jay and I are back with the Air Experts Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing High School Hoops halftime report next.
For 250 years, America has been built on bold ideas, strong communities, and stories that connect us all. From small towns to big cities, from back roads to bright lights, this is the story of who we are. In 2026, we celebrate 250 years of amazing America. And together, we honor the people, places, and possibilities that continue to shape our future. Stay with MyRDC 28 as we celebrate amazing America.
How could you look your grandfather in the eyes after what you put him through?
I'm asking you a question. Sir, are you just making this up?
Do you understand when you've been caught in a lie? That's the look that you would get on a guy's face. Hot bench.
My wife, Roxanne, had so much love to give. Oh, and everyone loved her back. Kids, dogs, Louis the mailman, Jimmy the gardener, Jose the meter reader, and Rob lives down the street. See, that, my friend, is why we're going to divorce court.
Weekdays at 4 on MyRDC 28.
You can talk big.
You're trying to talk slick with me, and I'm a highly paid slick talker.
Hide behind the drama.
Oh, this is some messy gossip.
But you can't escape justice.
She was gonna get me.
What'd you do?
I hid.
Judge Mathis.
You're watching the Air Experts High School Hoops Halftime Report. Air Experts Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com. And now it's time for the Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Tatum and Atkinson is proud to present the WRDC Sports High School Hoops Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athlete of the Week. From Millbrook High School, the Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athlete of the Week is Jayla DeLeon Jones. Jayla is basketball team captain, a 3-year letter winner, a member of National Achiever Society, and carries a 3.8 GPA. Jayla is a member of Black Student Union, a member of sports psychology, and is a sports medicine trainee. From Wakefield High School, the Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athlete of the Week is Kate Benson. Kate is basketball team captain, a summa cum laude candidate, and carries a 4.23 GPA. Kate is a member of National Honor Society, a member of National Science Honor Society, a junior marshal, a member of Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and a Gold Key Ambassador at St. David's School. Kate volunteers for the Women's Center, Oak City Cares, Raleigh Parks and Recreation, Note in the Pocket, and volunteers as a youth basketball coach.
This All-Star is now entered for a $3,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Congratulations to our Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Tatum and Atkinson, injured in a wreck? Call the heavy hitters.
What is it, Julia? Why are you so excited, honey?
Oh, hey, do you want to use your talker? With Julia's autism, using a talker can help her find the words she wants to say.
My dog.
You want to do something with Rose, Julia?
Play ball.
Oh, do you want to play catch with Rose? Oh, I think Rose is excited to play catch too. Oh, Julia, you show us so many different ways to talk together. Oh, and play. Good catch, Rose. Okay, give Julia the ball. There you go. Okay, throw the ball, Julia. Oh,
for Julia's family, early screening for autism made a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Okay, Julia, there you go. Whoa, another good throw. That's the way.
You're watching the Air Experts High School Hoops Halftime Report. Air Experts Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
Wolverines trying to take another large step toward a regular season Cap 8 title. 41-13 lead over Millbrook. As we continue our halftime show, let's go back and revisit some of our great highlights from last week's games.
Ripped down by Page on the miss. Feeds it ahead. Nice job. Oh, what a pass after the behind the back. Taken away and dug out by Rush on the other end. He'll lay it in. 14 for Rush, and then a steal. The three is good. The turnover and Rink. Oh, blocked from behind. Minute remaining here. Blocked again. The Spartans down 13 in the third quarter.
Fewer possessions to play with. They may know that she's approaching career high. Who's the new guy, Jay? Claire Barber. The last three we just saw her make was the 8th of the game for Barber.
One timeout left for Panther Creek. Puckett for the lead. Got it! 30 for Puckett.
What kind of dog do you have?
It's a border collie.
He's a liar. He's nothing but a liar. I've never seen a pit bull look more like a pit bull. You were a bold-faced perjurer. What really happened? It's about a woman, ain't it? It's like I'm clairvoyant.
Judge Millian doesn't mince words.
Why aren't you stopping the behavior if it's happening right in front of you?
She cuts to the chase.
I think you're misreading the law a little bit.
Really? Compassionate.
You should be mad at one person, and that's him. When did something happen that made you feel uncomfortable?
She never accepts disrespect.
Stop your nonsense, or we will be escorting you out.
Watch Justice for the People with Judge Millian.
Weekdays at 11 on MyRDC 28.
From worst to first, Indiana just made college football history.
And now, their head coach, Curt Cignetti, is joining us on the Triple Option.
A perfect season, a national title, and one of the greatest program turnarounds we've ever seen.
We're going inside the huddle with the guy who ran the table.
Championship insight straight from the source.
The Triple Option with Curt Cignetti, streaming now, presented by Wendy's.
In Cutler's Court,
we found out who's lying,
who's the daddy,
and who's getting paid. You about to make me turn up on you?
You're watching the Air Experts High School Hoops Halftime Report. Air Experts Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
And welcome back to Wakefield High. 41-13 is the lead for Wakefield. Patrick Innes and Jay Sonhalter back with you. And everybody anxiously awaiting the second half. Future Wolverine player right there, Jay. Let's get to some of the highlights that we saw from the current Wolverine players, because we saw big halves by Pope, Amen, and Kate Benson.
Yeah, Wakefield really came out strong. They're scoring the basketball inside and outside, but really this first half was their defense standing strong, and it led to easy opportunities on the offensive end. But we saw talent out on the floor, outside shooting. There's Nicole Amend, the three-point shot. There was ball movement, and just the play from Wakefield, making it difficult on Millbrook with all that movement, the cuts, the unselfish play, and all their players seemed to take good shots, and they made good decisions shooting the ball.
So 3 in double figures for the Wolverines. Not a lot happening for Millbrook's offense. Unofficially 16 turnovers, and Lauren Brown had 9 of Millbrook's 13 points the first half.
Yeah, and getting the ball down to her on the block, she was able to fight through some of those double teams and make some shots. And this pressure from Wakefield was very difficult, but they found ways in the second quarter to get things going. But they've got to come out here in the third quarter and really do a nice job on the defensive end, creating turnovers to give them easier opportunities on offense.
All right, first half stats. We don't see the turnovers. 16 by Millbrook. What else? Oh, actually, we see 17 on the number for Millbrook. What sticks up?
The turnovers are huge, and also the three-point shooting from Wakefield, 4 for 9. They are shooting the ball really well from the outside. Their overall field goal percentage, 15 for 27. They did a good job with their shot selection.
Second half next, 41-13 Wakefield.
I immigrated to America when I was 20 from a country called Uruguay. I have 2 careers. I'm in the Army Reserves, and I have a civilian career as an engineer. And I have 2 wonderful children. Every day is a challenge to make sure that the time that I have, I spend with them. It doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to be there. You have to be present for them. You have to try to teach them. When they learn something new and it just clicks in their brain, I just realized I could do this. And you can just see in their faces. It's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
She's fair.
Untrue, Your Honor.
What? You're going to have your turn.
She's inquisitive.
What in the world led to this young lady finding you in this compromising situation?
She's very frank.
You should never start anything you're not prepared to finish.
Compassionate.
I see a family that still loves each other, and I'm glad to see it.
And firm.
The only thing that matters in this particular courtroom, sir, is how I see it.
Watch Equal Justice with Judge Ebony K. Williams.
Weekdays at 2:30 on MyRDC 28.
Ready to go for the second half from Wakefield High School. Wolverines a half game up on both Leesville Road and Corinth. Holders coming into this final week, and they are taking care of business in capital letters, up 28 as we begin the second half. Patrick Keenest, Jay Sonhalter, and Jay, what in the world should the Wildcats be focusing on these first few minutes to try and claw back in to this contest?
The biggest thing is on the offensive end, making adjustments to make sure you get clean looks and protect the basketball. And Wakefield's defense, that 1-3-1 zone look where they're pressuring, trapping on the corners has made it very difficult for Millbrook to get a rhythm on offense.
First possession, second half. Turnover for Millbrook. That is now 18 in the contest. 28-point lead for the Wolverines. 3 in double figures the first half. Led by Quinn Pope, number 4. She had 15 points. Trap on the sideline. And a timeout taken to save the possession. That's a perfect spot for the trap and the sideline for the Wildcats. And as we take a look inside the huddle for Camden Scott.
He's got to be very pleased with his defense, what they did in the first half, but also on the offensive end, just the unselfish play. It seemed like everybody on each possession was getting touches, movement, getting everybody involved, and they made good decisions, knowing when to drive, take it all the way to the hoop, and then Patrick knowing when to kick it out. For Dan Courtwright, making sure his team is aware of what they want to do here on this possession on offense and getting a good look here coming out of the timeout break.
You know, for the Wildcats, I mean, you just can't come out with your best game every game out over the course of the year. They played this Wakefield team to a 2-point loss a few weeks ago. They may very well see Wakefield again in the conference tournament next week. They're having a good year, a couple of games over 500. You can't let this result dictate where you are next week when the conference tournament kicks off.
Well, and it's a challenge for both these teams with the snow and the break and limited practice time. It's been difficult, and each team has 3 games this week. Millbrook played Broughton, one of the best in the Cap 8 last night, so this is a quick turnaround.
Nice finish there with the left hand by Nicole Amend. She has 13 points. The lead gets to 30 for the first time in the game.
Well, Amend's a Division I recruit, only a junior, still 2 more years here in the program, but she's showing off her offensive talent.
Grabs the rebound, wants to push the tempo. Finds Quinn Pope, spins to find some space and misses the short jumper. Lauren Brown clears the way from Millbrook. Into the corner, quick touch inside, another turnover. And here come the Wolverines. This time it's Pope leading the way. Spins to the front of the rim. Brown volleyballs it down, commits the foul, and Brown took a shot in the nose as well.
And for Wakefield, getting these turnovers, it's resulting in positive offense. And get the turnover, you have numbers, and then you just sprint up the floor to try to beat the defense, and it allows you to get to the line or finish.
So Quinn Pope, 15 points in the first half, 3 of 4 from the line. Is back there again, sinks the first, one more coming from the ready-to-roll free throw line. Ready to roll? Call Raleigh's Garage Door experts today. One of 2 for Pope. This is a fairly young Wolverine team. They're playing with great experience tonight. Another turnover, another bucket for Amen.
And then just read the passing lane, and their guards are being aggressive here on this 1-3-1 up at the top. Benson and then Pope and Amend out on the wings. They're jumping. The ball's in the air. They're jumping it.
And it's just never-ending pressure out of this defense for the Wolverines. A missed 3, and here comes Amen stepping through. Throws back up top to Ruff. Baseline move. Pope leader, yes. And that will get the lead to 35, which Jay now means we're on a running clock. The official signal to the score at the sideline. We saw this in Friday night's game as well. Second half lead, 35+ points. The clock will not stop on whistles like that one. And the clock will continue to run. And there you see it. Ball has not been inbounded, but here we are. 48-13 Wakefield. And Wakefield's played a couple of games like this year. Earlier in the season, they beat Enloe 65-6. Scoop layup. Another nice finish on the inside. Amen with 17.
Great touch there. And this is the Wakefield team that was runner-up to be the state champion last year. And that ball game went right down to the wire. We were there for it over in Winston-Salem. And the group, they lost some really good players, but some great returners. And the young players infusing this program, an opportunity to make another deep run this year.
We've now seen 21 Wildcat turnovers in this game. Brown will head to the free throw line, got fouled, but even that won't stop the clock. (50-13). Now the clock will stop if Millbrook happens to get the lead back inside 35 points. 50-13. A couple of free throws from the ready-to-roll free throw line. Ready to roll, call Raleigh's Garage Door experts today. And now we start to see Camden Scott go down his bench. Starters are out and may not return in this one. 50-14. Brown has 10. Her teammates have 4. 1 of 2 for Brown. Ruff into the half court. Foul line pass. Nice look to the inside. Layup is missed. And saved by Jallo. Kick to the elbow. Jumper hammered down. Amen still on the floor. She now has 19 points. Can't imagine her time is long in this one either.
She's really taking over here in the third quarter. Now another steal from Amen.
And Amen plays it ahead. Ruff. Amen down the edge of the lane, kicks over to the sideline. Watson. Amen thought about the 3. Spins on Brown, right into a double team, and a travel on Wakefield. 3:13 for the third quarter. Media timeout. Wakefield in control. Running clock on their way to a 10th win in conference play. 52-14 Wolverines.
Are you a weather nut? A bona fide weather enthusiast? I'm talking, do you have a rain gauge? Would you drop what you're doing to go storm chasing? Then the National Weather Desk is for you.
We saw rapid intensification.
That cold air really piling up to the north.
200 meteorologists explain, experience, and enlighten you about the weather.
This is Severe Weather Awareness Week.
Go beyond the forecast. Watch the National Weather Desk.
and came back for more. Life's a dance, you learn as you go. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. Don't worry about what you don't know. Life's a dance, you learn as you go. Life's a dance, you learn as you go.
3:13 left in a running clock situation here at Wakefield. First place Wolverines up by 38 points on Millbrook, 52-14. Patrick Enos, Jay Sonhalter back. And Jay, you've had your eye on the Cap 8 most of the year. How does it look now as we head toward the conference tournament next week? You have 4 teams right now separated by 2 losses in the loss column, but there's been a lot of parity between the top 4.
I think this is the best league in the state in traditional powers. And look at some of these teams here. Wakefield, who's putting on an awesome performance tonight. And I know it's been tough for Millbrook, but they're here at the top of the league along with Broughton, Corinth Holders. Rooseville's a state champion here from a couple years ago. So Leesville Road as well. So this is a league that's got depth, it's got talent, and I think it's making all of these teams better as they get ready for the upcoming playoffs.
Yeah, and you look at Wakefield over their final 2 regular season games after tonight. They get a couple of teams toward the bottom of the standings, both 3-9, Rollsville and Athens Drive. So a comfortable looking finish as Hallie Dickerson leaves a 3-pointer short, but look at her dig in and rip that ball away and tie up Lauren Brown.
Great job from Dickerson, and she's a star lacrosse player, only a junior. She's committed to Charlotte. Coming in this ball game, shoots it, but you follow your shot and look at her here, getting in on the offensive board, hustling and just grabbing it away, showing that intensity and coming in here. And she's coming off of an ACL tear that she had, and for her star lacrosse player, she's going to have an opportunity at the college level to continue playing at a high level, but on the basketball court, she provides a lot for the Wolverines.
You can see that toughness that she brings to the floor just by that look at Lauren Brown after the ball is called dead. 52-14, again, clock still running. Foul charged against Millbrook. And the Wildcats will bring in Reese Pedersen. We're 25 in for Bardeen. See that brace on the right leg of Dickerson. Throws all the way into the backcourt for Ruff. Minute and a half for the third. To the inside and a foul before a near travel on Jallo. And free throws coming for Wakefield. Yeah, Leesville Road will finish with Rollsville and then Broughton. Corinth Holders will get winless Enlow, and when I say winless Enlow, I mean winless Enlow. They haven't won a game all year, conference or non-conference. They are 0-22. Corinth Holders will get them Friday. This Millbrook team on Saturday, and Broughton will finish with Athens Drive and Leesville Road. 52-14, couple of free throws missed. 45 seconds left in the third. Travel that wasn't called. Wildcats pitch it out of the trap on the inside. Long jumper missed. Rebound to Pedersen. And a foul on Wakefield. Challenge to the inside. Wakefield with the rebound. And Here come the Wolverines. Amen is still out there for Wakefield. And throws back outside the pressure. Amen at the elbow. Off the sideline. A little bit short. Offensive rebound. And that went a little bit long from Jello. And that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. So Wakefield extends the lead from 28 to 38. They hold Millbrook to only 1 point in the third quarter. Fourth quarter on the way. Wakefield 52, Millbrook 14.
Direct.
Don't you ever look up at the sky and roll your eyes. You hear me?
Yes.
Realistic.
I will maybe have a tendency to
Spend too much and won't be able to pay your rent.
He holds the line.
I resent it, and I resent you for doing it.
Mathis Court is in session.
Let's jump right in.
10-4. Start me another unit.
727.
.74 in a 40 zone. We ain't gonna tolerate that.
Live PD presents Real Life Mysteries.
It was finally caught.
Investigations.
It was by far the most important piece of evidence in the case.
And cold hard cases.
If he couldn't have her, no one was going to have her.
Put your detective skills to test with Dateline.
I never dreamed somebody could do this.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely. Wow, this has got me shaking.
Weeknights at 8 on MyRDC 28.
Ready to begin the fourth quarter for Wakefield. 52-14. Wakefield in control on Millbrook. Patrick Keash, Jay Sonhalter, the high school hoops trophy has just been delivered from John Hummel to Jay Sonhalter. He will have the delivery to the Wakefield Wolverines in probably about 12 minutes time, because we'll still be playing with a running clock. Just have the under 4-minute media timeout, and then Wakefield will now turn its focus to its final 2 games of the regular season. There are the points to paint through 3 quarters, sponsored by the University of North Carolina. 28-10 edge for the Wolverines.
That trophy presentation is Wakefield winning down in the paint area by a wide margin as Millbrook knocks down a 3. But that presentation, one of the best parts of this broadcast, seeing the team celebrate at the end of the ball game, and Wakefield in a good position here with the way they played.
All right, good start in the fourth quarter for Millbrook. Keith knocks down a 3, turnover on Wakefield, created by the Millbrook defense. A 3-pointer just made by Dream Keith, presented by Nelson and Nelson Chiropractic, working overtime to make a difference in our community.
And Hallie Dickerson and Kate Benson here at the top of that pressure, doing a nice job.
And meanwhile, Amen is on the bench now for the Wolverines, so all the starters are done for this one. Amen 19 points, Pope 18 points. Benson had 8 of her 10 in the opening quarter. And this is a quick sprint out by the Wolverines that led 16-2 and have not looked back, and forced over 25 Wildcat turnovers in this contest so far.
That was a good look at the Wolverines, and many of these players were in that state championship ball game last year. Then some younger players that are now with the program. There's Lila Bagwell, who is out this year with injury, and she's committed and signed with Wingate, so she'll have an opportunity to come back next year at the college level, and she's going to have a great career down with the Bulldogs.
52-19. We did see Quinn Pope, the sophomore, check back onto the floor. Just the bench is not terribly deep in terms of just pure numbers for Wakefield, so some of the starters might occasionally come back on to spell some of the backup and role players. 6:14 for the game. Again, running clock. Free throws coming up for Millbrook, trailing by 33. We'll see Corin Dixon head to the ready-to-roll free throw line. Ready to roll. Call Raleigh's Garage Door experts today.
And for Millbrook here, back-to-back days with games is Amend and Kuzi coming back into the ball game, but played a game against Broughton last night, Wakefield tonight, and then Friday, Corinth Holders on the road. So this is a group for the Wildcats. You know, tough matchups here. They'll have an opportunity to rest, get ready for Friday night, and then the conference tournament starts next week.
Ben does claim that rebound for the Wolverines. So a couple of the starters are back on the floor for the Wolverines. Dave Benson, number 22, is back out there as well. So about 3/5 of their starting five are back out here for the Wolverines. Kuzi spins away from some traffic. Deflection, saved, and the Wolverines kind of rotated around. Bank shot a little bit long. Magdalena Radic. And a very nice finish on this scoop by Corin Dixon, her first field goal of the game.
Well, Millbrook getting out on the run and starting to get into more of a flow on the offensive side. A good take there with the finish.
Jump stop, Benson lost the handle. Steal by Dixon. 3-on-2. Dixon feeds DeLeon Jones. Can't finish the layup, and the Wolverines haven't. If you notice, the lead is inside 35 points. We got clarification from the officials a few minutes ago that if the lead did get back inside 35, the running clock still would continue. Once it hits that 35-point mark in the second half, there's no going back. So that's why the clock continues to roll here in the fourth quarter. 52-21 Wakefield. We'll see 4 subs at the next whistle, and this will be a timeout taken at the 4:07 mark of the fourth quarter. Wakefield on its way to a 10-2 start with a couple of games left in the regular season. All Wolverines tonight, leading Millbrook by 31.
I got you. Oh, yeah, I got him.
That stupid controller froze again.
You're only saying that because you're losing.
Bet you bought the cheap one.
That controller is junk too. Is this even real?
You're spending less, so...
Yeah? We'll just buy it again?
Smart kids.
Who are you?
Or what are you?
Hey, I was wondering if you guys wanted any... OMG, it's McGruff.
Yes, I am.
He's not my Uncle McGruff, the crime dog. He's an imposter. He's a fake. Oh!
I am McGruff the crime dog. He is the fake. And so is that controller you're holding. It's gonna break. And that, Pops...
could blow up in your face!
That's right, Scruff. Let's take a bite out of crime together and protect ourselves against fakes. Like him.
Who says you're not the fake?
Dude, you're literally missing an arm.
You are smart kids. You're smart. Buy smart.
In Cutler's Court,
we found out who's lying,
who's the daddy,
and who's getting paid.
My husband has a sex addiction.
She's beginning to become a pain in the ass.
No, that's not true. You want to tell your side of the story?
They were dealing with witchcraft.
He doesn't trust me.
You slept with his friend.
It's reasons behind that. Do you have questions about the paternity?
We've got these polygraph results.
Is there anything you need to tell before these tests get revealed?
Because it's getting good now.
Final 4:07 of regulation. Wakefield a runaway tonight, 52-21 over Millbrook. Patrick Keenis and Jay Sonhalter with you, and our next to last Riddle and Riddle High School Hoops presented by the University of North Carolina. Final regular season game for us is coming up on Friday. Southeast Rahway takes on South Garner. And then for Jay and myself and most of our crew, the state championships a few weeks into March. 8 classifications, long, 4 days?
And hopefully great basketball and better weather.
Yeah.
Warmer weather. A tough January and February for us.
But it was 70 degrees in the triangle today, and a jumper from the foul line drained by Amen. She has 21 points now.
She is so good. And only a junior, and you see the way she shoots the ball towards the hoop. Defense does it all.
And here comes Amen, one-on-one the other way off of another Millbrook turnover. She has now outscored the entire Wildcats team tonight. 23 for men, 21 points for Millbrook.
Well, her recruiting attention continuing to pick up. She's a Division I recruit, and this summer and next year, an opportunity for these college coaches to continue to try to watch her and get her to commit.
High arcing jumper knocked down by Julia Ferris. You look at a men on the floor playing through the high post. 5'11", might get a little bit bigger. Good handles. Good ball handling ability. Mid-range shot is there. Just high basketball IQ you can see from her play on the floor. Pope to the corner. Kusi. Weak side, board by Benson. Feeds it inside. A little strong as Rodic. 2:33 for the game. The lead is 33 points for Wakefield. And still digging after the dribbles. They have forced almost 30 turnovers in the game. Harwood's first points.
Again, Courtright has to be pleased with his team just staying in this ball game. This has been a tough night. Still playing hard, and this second half has been better as far as the adjustments and playing good defense and finding success on offense.
I mean, this is certainly not an outcome you even entertain with 1% of your brain coming in, because Millbrook played this Wakefield team to the wire about a month ago. It was a 2-point loss. The closest this game was tonight was 4-2. Then you looked up 2 minutes later, and about 10 turnovers later, you're down by 18 or 20 points.
I think, how do you respond to adversity? It was tough in that first half, but they're coming back strong. They'll have a couple days to practice, regroup, and get ready for Corinth Holders on Friday. You have the conference tournament next week, and this is a team that I think, yeah, it's a tough night, but they'll have an opportunity to make a deep playoff run, and making sure you use all these timeouts as coaching opportunities.
And that's what this one is here for Camden Scott. And again, he has several of his starters on the floor. You know it's not going to be this easy down the stretch the next couple of games or in the conference tournament, or particularly once you get to the postseason. Going to make sure that everybody is on the same page. 56-25, the Wakefield lead, and our University of North Carolina points in the paint. Lopsided margin, better than 2-1 margin for Wakefield, 32-14.
Yeah, for Camden Scott, Thursday night against Rollsville, Friday night against Athens Drive. So an opportunity to finish out this week going 3-0 and getting ready for next week. But this is a group, I think they're peaking and really playing well here in the mid part of February.
Around a screen, Yellock. Wessler misses a three. Harwood outlets it for Millbrook. Approaching the last minute of this one.
Wakefield still playing really good defense here.
Blocking foul on the Wolverines.
And, you know, for Wakefield, bring in different players, but still the same intensity, still the same effort. And this is a talented group, it's a deep group, and we'll see some of these players getting valuable minutes.
Interior pass poked away, foul on Rodic. Again, the clock continues to roll, non-shooting foul. And we may have one last possession in this one. And we will stop the clock. Timeout called with 28 seconds left. And this will be simply a game that the Millbrook Wildcats may flush down the commode before they leave the building here tonight. Maybe probably not a lot of value to look at with the busy week ahead and the season Millbrook has had. This is not at all emblematic of the year that the Millbrook Wildcats have had.
Dan Courtright does a great job with his team and using this timeout again as an opportunity to make sure everyone's on the same page, close out this ball game, and take it possession by possession. And they'll be back. And for Wakefield, Camden Scott, and you see the group coming out on the floor, Hallie Dickerson and her teammates trying to close out this strong victory and finish this ball game off here on the defensive end.
So this will be a fourth straight victory, all within the conference for the Wakefield Wolverines. This is a squad that had a very tough non-conference schedule. They lost their first 5 games of the year, Jay. They played some great competition, and as you mentioned, they are really peaking at the right time. Final 10 seconds. Hayes to the outside, Long with a three. Final couple of seconds, and this one is in the books, and the Wakefield Wolverines march closer to a Cap 8 regular season title. They limit Millbrook to 25 points. They force over 25 turnovers and defeat Millbrook tonight by a final score of 56-25.
This is a ball game. Two rivals, and Wakefield coming out here on the defensive end early on, setting the pace and the tempo to get their offense going. And wouldn't be surprised if these teams play next week in the conference tournament and potentially in the playoffs.
Trophy presentation from Wakefield High School as the Wolverines win their 4th straight in dominating fashion tonight. 56-25, your final. Wolverines over Millbrook.
The truth hurts.
You're full of it from all angles.
But lies? Once you find yourself in a hole, stop digging.
Hurt even more. You look like a deer in the headlights.
Judge Domingo, Judge Levy, Judge Acker, from creator Judge Judy Scheinlin.
You scammed him. Judge Levy?
No, that was perfect. I got no questions.
Really?
I got no questions.
This is Tribunal Justice.
When I think about what has the power to change the world, it could all be said with just one word: kindness. And what if we lived with a heart of kindness? What if we loved like we've been loved? If that's all that we're remembered for, well, let that be enough. So when they stand and tell the stories of who we are and what we've done, of 1,000 things that we could leave behind us. What if we lived with a heart of kindness? What if we loved like we've been loved? If that's all that we're remembered for, well, let that word be kindness.
She's fair.
Untrue, Your Honor.
What, you're gonna have your turn.
She's inquisitive.
What in the world led to this young lady finding you in this compromising situation?
And firm.
The only thing that matters in this particular courtroom, sir, is how I see it.
Watch Equal Justice with Judge Ebony K. Williams.
Weekdays at 2:30 on MyRDC 28.
Back at Wakefield High School, where the Wolverines moved to 10-2 in league play. 56-25 walkover against the Millbrook Wildcats. Not only the win for the Wakefield Wolverines tonight, it is senior night, but before those festivities begin, a trophy to hand out. Here's Jay.
All right, here with the victorious Wakefield Wolverines, and Nikki Amend had a huge night scoring the basketball tonight. And Nikki, your offense was really flowing. What was working so well for you?
Really just moving off the ball, getting ahead of it in transition, and trusting my teammates.
And your defense was outstanding throughout. What would you say about your teammates' effort and how well you did creating turnovers?
I feel like we were pressuring the ball really well. We were rotating, we were talking, boxing out, just being everywhere.
Continued success, and look forward to watching you throughout the rest of the season. And Coach, the way you came out tonight and really imposed your will on the defensive end, you must be so proud of the effort.
Absolutely. That's just something we preach every day. We're big on just communicating, trusting each other defensively, making sure we're in help side, and we just value our culture and believing in each other that we can keep our man in front for sure.
And on offense, you could tell the value of the basketball and getting everybody involved, the cuts, the passing, everybody getting touches. Where do they get that unselfish nature from?
Same thing. We just preach it every day. We believe 5 beat 5, so we all trust each other, and we all can shoot it. They all can shoot it. They all can get to the basket. So long as we play unselfish and value a great shot versus a good shot, we'll continue to be very successful.
And still a couple games this week, conference tournament coming up, but this is a group that was in the state championship last year. What's it going to take to have another strong finish this year?
Just keep building our momentum, keep trusting each other, keep trusting the coaches and our game plan, keep studying our opponents, and we'll put ourselves in this situation to be successful.
Coach, an outstanding effort tonight. Your team played great against a rival, and congratulations. Here's your high school hoops trophy. Celebrate with your team.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. Good job,
There we go, the first place Wakefield Wolverines that will close with Rollsville and Athens Drive later on this week, as they're now closing in on a Cap 8 regular season title. Well, all of us would like to take a minute to thank the great folks at Riddle & Riddle who make these games possible for all of our viewers at home. We would also like to thank our great other supporters for their contributions to high school hoops. on WRDC Sports. They are the University of North Carolina, Air Experts Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Ready to roll garage doors. Nelson & Nelson Chiropractic and Tatum & Atkinson. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support. Millbrook High School and right here at Wakefield. Coming up this Friday, later on this week, our last regular season game on the schedule, women's basketball. Southeast Raleigh takes on South Garner. Check your local listings for the start time. For Jay Sonhalter and our entire crew, Patrick Keenis from Wakefield High, where the Wolverines take down Millbrook 56-25. Enjoy the 70 degrees. We'll see you on Friday night. Thanks for watching. Good night from Wakefield.